Should you buy ASUS's smaller Zephyrus G14 or their bigger Zephyrus G16? These are the top 10 differences to help you decide. Let's start with the biggest difference, which is obviously the size and weight. The smaller G14 is just more portable and easier to take with you day to day. But that said, the bigger G16 is the thinnest and lightest 16-inch gaming laptop I've ever tested. So the G16's portability is still superior compared to other 16-inch models. It's just that the G14 takes it to the next level. Both laptops have a solid CNC aluminum chassis with top-notch feeling build quality. I just wish the lid hinges were a bit stiffer, as both screens have a little wobble if you bump them. The second difference is the screen, or at least the screen size. Both laptops use OLED panels, which deliver vibrant colors, amazing contrast with deep blacks, decent brightness, and insanely fast response times for competitive gamers. But the G16's biggest 16-inch screen is just nicer to play games on, as bigger screens are more immersive and easier to see. The G14 screen is actually a higher resolution, so FPS in games will be a bit lower compared to the G16, as more pixels need more GPU power to run. Plus, the G16 screen is double the refresh rate of the G14, resulting in a smoother experience. So all in all, I think the G16 wins when it comes to the screen, and the G16 wins when it comes to future upgradability too. Look, neither of these laptops have amazing upgrade options compared to most others, as the RAM is on board and can never be upgraded. That's how they get them so thin and portable. But the G16 at least has a second M.2 slot for adding an SSD, while the G14 only has one. So if you wanted to upgrade the SSD in the G14, you'd either have to take out the existing SSD into another system and clone the drive to your newer, bigger drive, or just put your new drive straight in and reinstall Windows, both of which are less convenient compared to the G16, as it has two M.2 storage slots, so you can keep the existing SSD and just stick in a new one alongside it. Apart from that, only the Wi-Fi card is upgradable, and the one in the G16 performs significantly better, though if we're being real, the G14 still offers well above gigabit speeds. There's also a difference when it comes to temperatures, which shouldn't be that surprising considering the size difference. The G14 has a smaller cooler with smaller fans, as there's just less space, and as a result, when under a heavy load, the G14's keyboard feels significantly warmer and can get uncomfortable in the middle compared to the G16, which feels relatively fine in comparison. That said, the fan noise ends up being similar from both laptops, regardless of the performance mode in use, though the G14 was a little louder in all cases. Performance is different too, but not by as much as you would expect. Both of my laptops have Nvidia's RTX 5070 Ti laptop GPU inside, but the G16's only has a 5-watt higher power limit. So in our game tests, whether we're looking at 1080p or 1440p, there's basically no real practical difference between them. The G16 is usually slightly ahead, but that's not always the case. The G14 holds up extremely well in games compared to its bigger brother. The G14 is only available with an AMD Ryzen processor, while the G16 is available with Intel or AMD, but the G16 only pairs the AMD CPU with RTX 5070 or below graphics, while Intel seems to be the only option with the 5070 Ti and above. In terms of raw CPU performance, the AMD chip in the smaller G14 was actually scoring 5% better in terms of multi-core, but the G16's Intel chip was 9% faster when it comes to single-core score, which gives it a slightly snappier experience. And neither laptop loses much performance when running on battery power. And speaking of battery life is another difference. The smaller G14 can only fit a 73 watt-hour battery inside, while the bigger G16 has more room to accommodate a larger 90 watt-hour battery, so the G16's battery capacity is 23% bigger. But despite the battery size difference, the G16 only lasted 5% longer when playing back a YouTube video. The AMD chip in the G14 is just more power efficient in this workload. So yeah, the G16 does last longer, but the G14 really isn't far behind considering its smaller battery. Though that said, the G16 did last 27% longer with a game running, though the G14 still offers an above average runtime compared to many other laptops. I also found less battery drain on the G14 while asleep, so you're less likely to pull the G14 out of your bag and be out of battery. The front-facing speakers on both laptops are exceptional, and better than most other gaming laptops out there, but the G16's biggest speakers have a slight edge over the G14. Let's have a listen. Although the G16 has more room for ports, the only difference here is that it has a full-sized SD card slot, while the G14 has the smaller micro SD card slot. All ports are otherwise exactly the same, just that the Intel laptop has Thunderbolt 4, though the USB 4 port on the AMD-based G14 still supports up to 40 gigabit. Both touchpads are good, but I preferred the G14's, which just has a quieter, more satisfying and accurate feeling click. But this is of course personal preference. The G16's touchpad is larger, but mine must be loose or something, because it has this annoying double click. The keyboards on both laptops are similar, but the G16's just feels a bit clickier, which I preferred. The only thing I didn't like was the smaller arrow keys, which they both have. The 10th difference is the price. Prices of both laptops will change over time, so check the links below the video for updates and to see if there are any current sales. Because if either of these gaming laptops do have a good sale, we'll add them to the gaminglaptop.deals website. We update that every day to include the best sales, so make sure you check it out regularly to save money on your next gaming laptop with that link below. The dark purple bars show full MSRP with no sales, but you should always wait for a sale. As you can see, the sale prices we've recorded so far in the light purple bars offer decent discounts. Anyway, the G16 costs more than the G14 when we're comparing the same tier of GPU. It's worth noting the 5060 and 5070 versions of the G14 are paired with last-gen processors, which are still decent, just not as good as what I've shown from the Ryzen 9 370 in this video. And it sucks that the 5070 version of the G16 only comes with 16 gigs of RAM, but the G14 with 5070 has 32 gigs. But this must vary by region, because here in Australia we can get the 5070 G16 with 32 gigs. Remember, you can't upgrade the RAM, so you have to buy it with what you need from the start. At the end of the day, these are both great gaming laptops. I love portability, as I only take laptops with me when I travel. But despite portability being important to me, I would still personally pick the G16. And that's simply due to its bigger screen, despite the higher price tag. It's still thinner and lighter compared to all other 16-inch gaming laptops, so it's still got the portability aspect. And unlike the G14, I don't have to hunch over its smaller screen just to see what I'm doing. But hey, that's me. But there's way more to know about both of these laptops. I only covered the major differences here, so check out one of the full reviews over here next to get all of the details. If you think the G14 is best for you, then I'll see you in that one. Otherwise, if you're like me and considering the G16, I'll see you in that one.